in her work. Like you have, she has got influenced by Picasso and Salvador Dali, all these artists, international masters. If you look at international art also, you have only masters. There are no women artists internationally very well known, only men. So the projection of women is not it's not a local problem, it is international problem. So women have to raise up. How can they raise up? You have to change the basis. Now there is a lot of things happening, girls getting violence, violence against women, and recently everybody knows things are happening. Now we are trying to react to that. But if you respond to that, what is the basis? 65% of internet is pornography. Every child has got an access to it. Can anybody stop this? All the women should join up and stop it. Can you do it? It should not be in the internet. Anybody can go into it. Now, will it not lead to violence? Will it not lead to raping women? It will. I'm very sorry. Cinema director is here. I'm not hurting anybody. But in cinemas, we show women as product. We don't show women as a person. We have to change the basis. If you do not change the base, உடம்பு நல்லா இருந்தா வியாதியே வராதுங்க. வருமா? Will you get disease when the body is strong? We are all only treating the fever by giving medicine, but body is weak. So please think about that. We have to change the basis. It is not one Swarnalatha. There should be thousands of Swarnalathas coming up in all possible ways to change this place. Because any society, even if you look at, when kings were ruling, one king's weakness will destroy the kingdom. Now people are ruling. The weakness of the people will destroy the civilization. Nobody can stop. None of us will know that we are getting destroyed, because if you are falling from 20th feet or 20th story of a building or 100th story of a building, if a person is falling is very nice. You feel very nice till you hit the ground, right? Suddenly when you hit the ground, what happens? So people have to think. Let us not take this life as business. We are born and we have not come to one mega mall. Don't convert world into a mega mall. We are not doing business with nature. Nature is very beautiful. Enjoy nature. Does anybody, how many of us are consciously breathing every day? From morning to evening, how many of us are consciously breathing? Do we understand what is breath? Breath is very important. If you are consciously breathing, you will breathe beautifully. Breathing is so good. We don't breathe properly. We don't live our life at all. We are enjoying living. We should enjoy life. So everybody should learn that. If elders have not learned that, we cannot teach the children. And we are irresponsible to have brought children into this world and then give them a very bad world. I have been advising school children to file cases against parents for keeping the world bad. What type of future we have given them? This polluted place? So, women can change the world. So we have to empower women. So the way Swarnalatha has done this has made me talk like this, because that work has really inspired. And she has brought in so much of tension in it. So I request all the mothers to raise up and change it. That is how you can make things. See, my wife is no more. I always told her name was Chandra. So I told her she's Chandra Ilango, because after marriage she became Chandra Ilango. Then I should be Ilango Chandra. Right? Nice. Then only so after she is no more, I have become Chandra Ilango myself. So it's like that. So life has to be equally lived. It's not like trying to adjust in a man's world. It is both women and man living together in a comfortable state of balance and beauty and peace. Thank you.
So I call upon Ms. Tara Ganeshan to give felicitation to Swarnalatha.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I must appreciate and thank Mr. A.V. Lingo for making this talk, and actually he directed the whole talk into a philosophical thought, because I really like to be spending some time with Ilingo because the way he looks at things is always having a philosophical touch behind it. And there were very nice one or two occasions where I met him, and I also had a detailed talk about how he looks at art and the world and the nature. And this is a beautiful evening, and I really feel like this feels like an unplugged, well-ripe cherry in this beautiful twilight. Especially in the Cholamandala village, this is a place I always long to be. And I always want to be belonging to be. That is the place this is. And here I'm also seeing Shri S.G. Vasudev. He is also one of the painters who has always, I admired his works so much, and it is really very lucky that she is able to hold her exhibition here where such eminent artists are here. And also we have the director and the two other eminent artists who are also here as a chief guest. I really would like to appreciate Swarnalatha first of all for all her works, because it's something really wonderful. And I want to say few things here. Basically, before I even begin, today is International Women's Day, and to have a woman's solo exhibition. See, being an artist is different. Painting is different. Some people do it for a hobby. Some people do it seriously. Some people do it for the soul. The one who does it for the soul is somebody who will leave his soul behind and legacy behind. That is how the painting has to be. And when I see her works, it talks much more, which Sri Ilango also touched upon. And on this International Women's Day, to celebrate a woman who has done so much of painting works, it gives me a lot of joy, and let's give her a big hand first. And I also, let me say, I'm also a poetess and a painter. I'm a poetess who turned into a painter later. I'm a self-taught artist, never went to any, arts college or never knew anything before, but I was experimenting. Because in my opinion, I feel a form of art is a sheer experimentation, bringing out your own experience, and it is a learning experience which continues forever. That is how I look at art. So the path that I have come across was also like that. So as a poet, for this International Women's Day, I see very beautiful women sitting here. And I must say that we must all thank the God, because only the Almighty created women as someone very beautiful. He knows how to admire the beauty. The thing of beauty is a joy forever. So I have written a poem which I would like to also present. Admirable, beautiful, charming, docile, energizing, fabulous, gorgeous, hyacinth, intelligent, jubilant, kind, lovable, mysterious, noble, optimistic, prophetic, queenly, romantic, sanctity, treasure, ultimate, vibrant, wonderful, extraordinary, yin in the yang and yang in the young, and zealous. She is the woman, the most beautiful of all creations. Women are always the strength of the world. It doesn't matter which country she belongs to or which religion she is claiming herself to be. Whether she is a literate or an illiterate, whether she is young or old, they have the strength beyond the doubt for the country. He was telling, Sri Ilango was mentioning, one has to think. I remember what Socrates said, I cannot teach anybody, I'm not here to teach anyone. Whereas, I would like to say that each one of us should think. So it is the process of thought that every artist goes through. The way he looks at things, the way he is actually, perceiving things, and the way he is expressing things makes one an artist, in my opinion. And here we do live in a very fast moving world. He said we are suffering from electronics. And we all laughed at it. But it is true. We live in a fast moving world of technology, and it is no more a world than to our own grandmothers. They didn't have this kind of luxury, in fact. We had the kings and queens who have been living here, but they were all going with the chariots on the horsebacks. Very difficult to travel for the queens in the palanquin. But still today we are all coming in fantastic, comfortable cars. We don't know the difficulties. When message has to be passed on, the kings and soldiers were actually, traveling long distances. But today everything happens through the WhatsApp. So electronic has got its own, comfort zones, but still it has also got its difficulties, like he was mentioning about the pornography-filled internet. So now, definitely we are lucky. The generation that is going to come after us is going to be luckier. And their generations, I mean to say the third generation which is going to come is really the luckiest. But beyond all this kind of technology, development and everything, women who have got their freedom internally in their homes as well as externally outside, there is one other world where they suffer. They do not know what are their rights, and the International Women's Day actually depicts and talks more and more about the equality, gender equality and everything. And it is such a shame in the 21st century we still talk about gender bias, which should not be there. He was telling beautiful philosophy, sir. I said yin in the yang and yang in the yin, that is what Mr. Ilango had said. It has to be like, she became Chandra Ilango and now I am Chandra Ilango, or I should have been Ilango Chandra. If every man here realizes the importance of his better half, that is why she's called as a better half. Many of the times it becomes like bitter half. If they remember, they realize, they respect, then we are going to create a fantastic world which will be full of joy and happiness, and paintings will change, music will change, everything will change. But utopianism doesn't happen anywhere. We cannot live in such a society where there is always, when there is a good, there is always a bad. It is always both sides of the coin, inevitably. Unfortunately, it is like this. In fact, I am always nowadays controlling my tongue so much because I do not want to use even any negative words. Don't say unfortunately. I am unable to come. Unfortunately, I cannot come. Why the bloody hell you say unfortunately? Let us not have to say that. And here, her paintings are depicting the pain. I met her about a couple of days back. I should say about 15 days back, I happened to meet Swarna, because Shri Vishwam had told me, Tara, she wanted to talk to you, so can you get in touch with her? I said, she wants to do a show. When I spoke to her, I asked her, what makes you paint? Because the title of her show itself says it is emergence. She has emerged out of nothing. I don't know this artist, I have not heard of her, but she has emerged out of nowhere. Suddenly an emergence has happened, and such beautiful paintings, unbelievably fantastic coloring and the texture, the form, the composition, whatnot. Everything is beautifully in place. But where was she all along? She was in somewhere, inside a cocoon, probably. What she was carrying within herself, what was the process by itself for her to come out so powerfully like this? She has done that. He said she was painting, 10 years back I know her, and she has now emerged to be a painter like this. So, it clearly mirrors the emergence of this artist who has all of a sudden come from nowhere. She told me that she has been working constantly for the past 5 years, silently, without bringing her works in a hurry. My appreciations for that. Every artist has got their own style, texturing, coloring, form, medium, and yet all the works are actually speaking about the artist's inner self, the inner space, and the retrospection that happens within him. And ultimately, it is a metaphysical experience. About the metaphysical experience, Mr. Ilango and I had a long discussion one day. It was definitely memorable for me. Metaphysical experience, harmony and nature, and there is an unanimity among all the artists. They can be a figurative artist, they can be a semi-figurative artist, they can be an abstract artist, or they can be just, shade and drawing, so much is there. But ultimately, the mindscape of an artist is important. What you intake, you deliver outside in a creative form, and that's really beautiful. And now, on the surface, these paintings are conveying to me a meaning, but at a deeper level, it conveys the artist herself. இதில் இருக்கிறது வேற யாரும் கிடையாது. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஓவியத்தை வரையணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்கா, என்ன நான் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஓவியத்தை வரைஞ்சிருந்தேன்னு சொன்னாக்கா, அது நானாக மட்டுமே இருக்க முடியும். என்னால் அடுத்தவங்க எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸை வரைய முடியாது. Certainly, ஒருத்தர் கதை சூஸ் பண்றாங்க, ஒரு மூவில கதை சூஸ் பண்றாங்கன்னு சொன்னா கூட அதுல வந்து அந்த டைரக்டருக்கு ஏதோ ஒரு பர்சனலி ஒரு இன்டர்னல் டச் இருந்தாதான் அந்த மூவி வந்து அவங்களால பியூட்டிஃபுல்லா டிபிக்ட் பண்ணி கொடுக்க முடியும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் குணா, அந்த மூவி வந்து பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்க there is a lot of observation and absorbing and being absorbed in it and lost in it has happened in that movie. A movie I can never forget in my life. Same like that, Swarnalatha is here. எல்லா பெயிண்டிங்லயும் அவங்க ஒரு மேளம் கொட்டுறாங்க, ஒரு கூடை வச்சுட்டு உட்கார்ந்து இருக்காங்க, ஒரு ஆட்டு மந்தையை மேய்க்கிறாங்க, அதுல அவங்க தான் இருக்கிறாங்க. So the surface of the paintings are conveying a meaning, but in a deeper level it conveys the artist herself, her unheard voice. கேட்கப்படாத அந்த பெண்மணியின் குரல் அதில் ஒலிக்கிறது. Or the unspoken dream, அவள் வெளிச்சொல்ல முடியாமல் சுமந்து கொண்டிருந்த கனவுகள் அதில் இருக்கின்றன. Or the change that she expects the society that she is living in, அல்லது அவள் எதிர்பார்க்கக்கூடிய இந்த சமூகத்தினுடைய மாற்றமாய் அவள் எதை கனவாய் காண்கிறாளோ அது இதில் சொல்லப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. The more one observes the paintings, gradually they get absorbed into it, and then the transformation of the vision happens automatically to understand an absolutely different meaning altogether. It depends on how one looks at this. The famous dictionary Johnson, I remember once he described that he is talking about his own self, that I don't have an